Why does this choke happen all the time? And how can you use it too? Well, that is the beginning of, which choke it is. We're gonna get to it. How about you finish him with these? Isn't that good enough? So this whole argument of what if, but he's gonna do this, but he's gonna do that. That's what fighting is. In MMA, there are macro movements and micro movements. Macro movements are basically the big stuff that I do, right? Micro movements are like the tiny little things that I do. Macro, micro. In MMA, we often have macro movements that are predictable, that you can know that he will do. For example, a big macro movement is he will do this and try to take me down. Stuff like that, right? So that means his head is often going to be here along with an arm because they're attached. You can't really take those off. They're always gonna follow. One macro movement would be he does a shoot, right? Ends up here. Look what I have, head, arm. We're gonna get to this. You're gonna realize why I'm talking about this and what choke this is and why you can do it all the time. The person holding the camera right now is one of my students, and he's asking, how do I do this choke, and specifically why? I need to tell him why, because if he understands why, he will be able to do it all the time. So, and you too. Keep looking what happens all the time. Head, arm, okay? Single leg. Nope, head inside. Head, arm, okay? Get down on your arms and legs, down. Look, head, arm. This situation happens all the time. Happens all the time in MMA. In every situation you will see big macro movements where arm and leg are below my chest down here, which allows me to do that. That is the beginning of, which choke it is. We're gonna get to it. Have a look. Stand up. Double leg. Look, arm and leg and neck. Arm and neck. That's the beginning of it. You understand? That's the beginning of this choke. Which, if I lay down, I can also begin doing here, right? This is why I hook him up and I want him to stay here. This is the beginning of a Darce choke. And the reason for why we do the Darce so often, and it happens in MMA so often, is because the head and his arm are often going to be below me. That's why it's so prevalent. It's not because it's more effective than anything else. It's because this arm and neck happens all the time. So it's easy for me to go and do it. You can do it on this side. You can also do it on my favorite, which is this side. I like doing it like that. I like pushing this in because if we're in this position, for example, I like going like that and pulling. You see what happens when I pull? If I just take this leg now and pull it and push it that way and get down on my side, I can now get him down. The next step is get up, grab, because I want him to be bent. If he's bent, it's easier for me. You understand why this happens all the time? Because in MMA, we are often in this position, head and arm. We are ourselves giving it to the other fighter. That's why the Darce choke is so prevalent. That's why it works. It's simple. All you need to do is be tight. And basically most of the time we'll have it. Or at least you will be able to reverse into another position just because you got that. For example, let's say he goes for a double leg. I just try to snap it in, get my legs back. And most of the times you guys like overdo everything. You say, oh, his legs weren't far back enough. Bro, keep double legging me now. This is good enough. This is really good enough. It's all about a feeling that you have. I feel that even though I'm standing like this, which isn't really a very good, like a great sprawl, I've done enough for him to block him. So don't exaggerate your movements. If it works, it works. It's done. Keep fighting. If I do this, I can snap him down by going down on my own knees. And from this position, I can basically let it go. I don't have to finish it here. I've gotten him down. He was trying to take me down, but now I end up in a dominant position because I give this up and I keep going and I end up here. After all, this is MMA. It's not submission wrestling. A lot of you guys forget and you get stuck into, oh, I have to finish. How about you finish him with these? Isn't that good enough? One of the favorite techniques that I have is I like ending up here because I always put him on his back here. Go and look from over there, I'll show you something. Go from over here. Look, you see this arm? You see him here? He's now gonna go diagonally and lay down over there. Now, a week ago I hurt my back and I was actually in the hospital for my back. I have a broken bone in my vertebrae in my back. I'm not gonna do this very hard. So I'm gonna try to do it really slowly and soft. What I do is grab and then I stand up. Oh, not the best back in the world right now, but I stand up here and I grab that. Now what I do is just smash his head down and lift. And I rotate and I go around. Look where I end up. Isn't this a better position than being on the side trying to get a Darce choke that he might get out of? And it's questionable whether I'm gonna end up on top or he is if I lose that Darce. In my view, a good fighter makes sure to be in a dominant position. That is by far more important than risking it because of a submission that you might not be able to get. I think it's smarter that when you do a submission, do one you know you will get. I know there's risks. You're gonna say, you know what? But what if? Yes, this is fighting. What if he stands up and stomps you? It's gonna happen. It might happen. He's a fighter too. Look at him. It's not like he's weak or doesn't know what he's doing. He knows what he's doing too. So this whole argument of what if, but he's gonna do this, but he's gonna do that, that's what fighting is. I do this, he does that. I do this, he does that. He's got counters and things he can respond with too. But if I'm gonna be a very good fighter, I need to do what is most likely to work all the time. For example, when we're standing here, weak legs, strong legs. Of course I'm gonna keep low kicking this guy. That would be stupid if I didn't. But then you have young fighters who say, no, I prefer to box him. And then he's a really sharp boxer. So go do what you know will work. If you go on a Darce, make sure you definitely have that Darce. Or at least, if it's MMA and not BJJ or submission wrestling or grappling, if it's grappling, go do the Darce. Get it. Get you choking, right? But if it's just MMA, bro, reverse the position. Where we were, he goes on a double, right? Sure. Grab it, get him down, turn, get back into a dominant position and start smashing him instead. Isn't that better? Right? You can even push. Here you can push. You don't even have to grab him down. You can push him down. Better position than being in a Darce, right? Remember, this is MMA, 4-ounce gloves. That hurts. I'd rather do this than do this, right? I hope that explains it for you.